Hello?
You still know how to do this.
Nah, I wasn't that worried. Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? We're back! Do we still know how to do this?
Yeah, of course we still
I
know
think
how to
we
do
still know how to do this.
It's fine.
I think we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Hi, I hope your festive seasons were good, or at the very least acceptable, or at the very least didn't involve being in work all the time.
I hope everybody had nice long breaks over the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Looking fresh. No, I look like I've been at an all hands all day at work, and that's exactly what I've been, is at an all hands all day at work. So I'm tired, but we're here.
I would go with fresh, because, I always go with what Naomi thinks.
West
Apart from
Philadelphia,
Shang-Chi, but we don't talk about
that. Okay. Had Peking duck. That sounds good. What did we have for Christmas? We cooked a beast.
Mm-hmm. Whole damn Ewok.
And then for New Year's Day we did a turkey, and then because it was on sale at M&S we did a ham.
Because my folks have now got to that age where they don't really do presents terribly much. What they do is, here's a gift card with some money on it at a place we know. Go.
And that place we have trained them is M&S. And that's fine, because I can get a cardigan and a steak and some biscuits, and we're good to go.
Coming soon, our financial advice book. You got biscuit money?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
we still got biscuit money.
There's
on
still
the card.
biscuit money.
A
on
lot
that
of
card.
biscuits.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. We're for the biscuits. Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Thank
everyone.
you for joining us. Hopefully, Twitch has actually informed you that we're doing this.
Who fucking knows?
Who knows anymore?
Although we maybe have some exciting news on that score. Picture the scene.
Can we do that again?
Yes. Picture the scene.
Okay. That's how old we are. Moving on. No, that was even older, but well done.
Thank you.
Meta reference. We haven't even gotten to the opening yet, and we're already off on our bullshit. By the way, content warnings. There will be swearing this evening. Moving on.
Anyway.
You were saying, picture the scene.
It is about 6-7 weeks ago. We are disturbed.
In a long ago. In the before time.
We are disturbed. I could stop there. I won't. We are disturbed by the sounds of workmen. Not the usual type of workmen who worship the great god scaffolding, because we live in a town which is about 80% scaffolding. Seriously, there's a whole housing development on the other side of the street. We're pretty sure they're demolishing. It's covered.
Wendy! Lightning on the ban button. Well done.
Nicely done, Wendels.
Okay.
So
it's not scaffolding, but there are workmen.
But workmen in the building, and in that unique rhythm that workmen in the building always have, where you miss them for the first 20 minutes.
Well yoked.
Yes. And then you go, is that someone doing stuff? Or are they trolling me?
Is that bad? Should I be worried about that?
Because it was like a guy was standing outside with a power drill going, 1, 2.
Turns out that's exactly what was happening. They were drilling holes in the wall outside for a very important reason.
For fiber optic internet cable.
We have an install appointment in 4 weeks.
Now,
everybody cross your fingers for us.
Because it's this building, which, I'm not saying Lucas property own it, but I'm not saying that. There is a reasonable possibility that they'll go, we can't do it, we need planning permission to come inside. But somehow, if we jump through that particular hoop, we will have an internet connection.
Yes. So it's all been scheduled with all the various people and the things and the stuffs, and the people have been notified, and the devices have been ordered, and the fingers have been crossed, and the sacrifices have been planned, and all of that good stuff.
But
everything. With luck and a following wind, we will have contemporary broadband in 4 weeks.
Because, seriously, I still get stuff to review, which I have to download. Which
makes us laugh and sad.
Which, because we both work from home, I have about a 3-hour window to do, and it takes about 3 hours.
Yeah. Laser internet. Pew pew. Pew pew laser internet. The Wicker Man has been built. I mean, it'll probably have to be a very small one.
That's alright. It's not that good a movie.
Okay, before we go much further, it's the brand new year.
It's a brand new year.
We may have brand new people who are joining us.
Hello, everybody. There are 3 things we do on this show.
Yeah, okay. Keep going.
those of you who are coming to us brand new, there are 3 things we do on this show. The first is an opening monologue, which we normally get to around half an hour in. That is often, although not this week, by our opening band, our house band, the magnificent Mr. Nate Crowley. No. I would heartily recommend literally anything by him. I'm getting to that. This week it is not him. We also open with fan art. Yes. You will notice a transition this week because The Secret of St. Kilda has launched. And we have about 50% of the creative team in the audience tonight. So, the Magnus Archives art isn't entirely going away, but we are pivoting inevitably towards something which is contemporary. And also because it's lovely.
I will not entertain your imprecations about the magnificent Iwa Woo Woo's finest. Oh dear.
I am not impugning Iwa Woo. We'll leave it there.
That needs to be like its own clip, right?
Yes.
And hello to new person, G Metal Viking.
G Metal Viking 459. Welcome aboard.
Yes. Exactly.
So yes.
Normally we do an opening monologue.
Glorious fan art, opening monologue, a story and/or endgame.
Yes.
And then shenanigans, which...
And a break.
And a break. And then shenanigans. Shenanigans was initially designed as what I call brain sorbet, because when we first started this stream, we did an awful lot of fucking horrifying stuff. Go to the Twitch page or the YouTube account and dig up the search and rescue stories. Do so in daylight.
Yeah.
I am not kidding.
This is an audience that is quite fond of horror content, and we deliver, him being a horror podcaster and all. So Shenanigans was developed as a way of sending you to bed not on nightmare fuel. And now it's become a time-honored tradition of how hard can we make Alistair laugh before the end of the evening.
And the answer is normally pretty.
Yeah, and we're not going to stop. So
yes. We're
just going to probably be doing a lot more St. Kilda-themed stuff these days because it's currently running. Speaking of St. Kilda stuff, the other thing we do on the stream quite regularly, about once a month, is we have special guests. Usually interviews with creative people who do brilliant, wonderful things.
Naomi.
Hey, Naomi. Joining us next week will be Mick, I forget his last name, quick, and Naomi Clark, the creators and writers of The Secret of St. Kilda. So we will be having a lovely, lovely interview series. Thank you very much. Mick's last name is Ireland. They will be joining us tomorrow night, which is probably going to start with like some proper formal interview questions. And this just evolve into the 4 of us giggling evilly about what it is we know about the show and you don't yet.
Every time I write questions, every time 98% vibes.
Yes, it will be next week's episode. Well, I think that's technically valid. Next week's episode/show will be all St. Kilda vibes.
And we mentioned that tomorrow, and that was incorrect.
That's correct. It's not tomorrow. It'll be next week. So we should also talk about our streaming schedule since,
Yes, because we are fully back on stream. That means we're on twice a week.
Correct.
Sundays, 10 till noon, we do a chill coffee and video gaming stream, which at the moment is Life is Strange True Colors. If you are joining that now, you're actually joining it at a really, really good time, because the inciting incident in the game rips your heart out.
Yeah. And we are beyond that into the investigation for great justice phase. Yes. And it's quite nice. The other thing we do is reference
My
that one
favorite West Wing episode is Celestial Navigation.
Should we tell people what that means, though?
It means that when there is something really exciting that I'm working on that I can't talk about, I tend to talk about that instead.
Yes. By the way, his favorite episode of the West Wing
is Celestial Navigation.
Yes. Exactly.
I have started the year much busier than I was expecting, and it's really good. And hopefully I will be able to talk about that with you at some point.
Exactly. There we go. Yeah, the other thing I would say is, hey, Mick, there you are.
Mick.
You missed it. We were talking about you. You're going to be our special guest next week. It's going to be a whole bunch of us giggling about the cool thing you did, what we know about. It's great.
Yes.
There we go. I was leaving
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't picking on what you were putting down.
That's okay. Yes. There we go. 3 episodes of St. Kilda released so far. By the time we do the interview, there will be 4 episodes of the 10-episode first season. Yes. And it's going to be really fun, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And it's worth it being maybe a supporter to St. Kilda if you're interested, because we do this fun thing on Monday nights where they broadcast the episode for us privately on a place where we can all chat, and it's wonderful, and we love it. It's so much fun. And then the episodes are public on Tuesdays at 5-ish.
That actually reminds me of a kind of weird ethical thing, which I think of every time we do one of those.
Weird ethical
Which
things?
is that is actually, I would argue, one of the blueprints for how you do exclusive or backer content moving forward into the latest iteration of this never-ending hellscape in which we live. Because it's really easy to do exclusive stuff, which is permanently locked behind walls. God, we do some of it. But...
yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more of it.
Funnily enough. But
we'll talk about that too. Hashtag not a cult.
Hashtag not a cult.
Yeah.
But I actually really, really like, and I've been meaning to say this to the St. Kilda team for a while, I really like that the exclusive is one day before. Yeah. Firstly, because it minimizes the spoiler window. And secondly, it doesn't... and I'm not... this is going to sound like I'm throwing shade. I'm not. But it doesn't artificially
drag it out. Yeah.
supporters in a way that all the crowdfunding platforms on Earth demand you artificially tier supporters.
Yep, it'll be good. So a couple of other things we should probably talk about. Hi, I'm Marguerite. He's Alistair.
Hello.
We are the co-owners of Escape Artists, which is a family of podcasts, including the original science fiction podcast, Escape Pod, Podcastle for fantasy, Pseudopod for horror, hosted by the hostess mostest here.
And Scott, who's in the...
and Scott as well, who's in the chat, and maybe even
Kat, who may also be in the chat
Who may also
tonight.
be in the chat. Yes, it's a rotating hosting cast now. And Cast of Wonders for young adult speculative fiction. We do a lot of different things. He most of all these days. And we started streaming about 2 years ago because it was lockdown and we needed things to do. And we wanted to teach ourselves a new medium, and now all you lovely people are here, and you're basically not getting rid of us.
And you know, with Xennials, therefore, we process our emotions by becoming good at a thing.
Yes, that we then monetize.
And then monetizing it.
God damn it. We really need to stop doing that.
Doing great, bestie.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Doing great. But the other thing we just wanted to kind of do a recap on is the rules for the chat. So this is a quite casual environment. We tend to like to laugh and swear and share things that excite us.
Fucking right we do.
Fucking right on. And have a lot of fun. Our moderators are, I think they are all here. We have the amazing Wendy, the fantastic Zelia, and the glorious Ducky, who is also our producer. So, yeah, that's the mods. Those are the chat rules. Any questions about any of the rules, feel free to whisper to one of the mods. They can help you out. Please be nice. We don't really like people who are crappy here. They tend to not stick around terribly long. We have a Discord server, which is available to our supporters. It is a supporters-only Discord because that is the way we keep it a community that is a size we can manage and that we can properly interact with, as opposed to really large, bulky, unsupportable, unmoderatable communities.
Let's take a left turn past that
and just kind of
move on.
Basically. Mm-hmm. Should we go ahead and just get started then?
I mean, I guess we could. There's some other stuff to talk about.
I mean, we've only been going on a tangent for 15 minutes. Keep going.
I know.
Go.
The Full Lid's back, which is
yes.
our multiple award nominated last year. Didn't win any of them, but we're still cool.
Meh.
Pop Culture Newsletter, which is streamlined and fast and does karate this year.
I just want to point something out. You don't know what day it is without you keeping me in check. Crimbo Crumbo was long. I'm so sorry, Pezzy, and that's very sweet of you.
When is Ben's?
And when is Ben's? That's its official name now, as far as I'm concerned. It's called Twixtmas. So the period of time between Christmas, the Christmas holiday, and New Year's Eve is that gray amorphous period of time where you have new things and there's still cheese, but you don't have to do anything, so you don't have to get up early or and you can go to bed super late, and the time is when is Ben's.
And over Christmas we had a cheese wing in the fridge. Now we still have a cheese compound
There's just a little tiny bit less. It's okay. It's a silly name, but I love it. And my favorite part of the Christmas holiday is the adoration of the baby cheeses, and there's lots of them, and I love them all.
Yes,
Your dog learned to sleep in? That's amazing. Of course, Alia, destroying your sleep schedule is part of the holidays.
Yes, it is.
It's down to Stilton. You know what my favorite trick for leftover Stilton is, Eldridge?
Pasta sauce?
No. So here in the UK, they have this glorious invention called cauliflower cheese, which is like macaroni and cheese, but with vegetables.
The recipe is the name.
So you can kind of fool yourself into believing it's healthy, but it's still something covered in cheese sauce. And my favorite variant of this is you can do it with broccoli and blue cheese, i.e. Stilton. And I find that super, super, super tasty, especially with like a steak. Scott's, that is the very official American opinion. Ew. And then you come here and you have it. And like take the best cookout mac and cheese recipe and just put cauliflower in it instead. And it's all about the cheese. It's delightful. I love it. Oh, Mick had COVID over Christmas. Oh, that does not sound fun at all.
I'm sorry, dude.
No.
How you feeling? Hope you're feeling better.
Yes.
One other thing which it might be worth touching on before we jump on in. It was WorldCon in December because everything is upside down right now.
Right? Undeclared milk? Nothing involving cheese is ever wrong.
Exactly. Hey, Marshmallow.
Hey, Marshmallow.
We were up for Hugo Awards. We didn't win any. That's fine. Brilliant people won them. Very happy with that. Because Marguerite is amazing, she organised what could only be described as a metal as hell watching party in, and I swear I'm not making this up.
A Victorian library burned down by suffragettes.
At 2 a.m.
In the dark.
And we were there
alone. With the photographer!
In genuinely the worst fog I've ever been in.
Yeah. Proper London pea soup fog. It was a lot of fun. And it was us in a library all alone in the dark. Well, not technically.
Like,
with lots of food.
I had that kind of, is this the mist? Are we in the mist now?
If you start hearing that one song from Dead Can Dance, just run, right? No. Stay in your car, take a nap, and have a sandwich, and wake up in an hour, and then figure out your situation.
Sandwich or murder? The answer is always sandwich.
Right. I mean, I could write a whole dissertation about the last 20 minutes of that movie. But let's move on.
Without diving...
That's a whole another hour, right?
But without diving into it, the whole kind of Hugo and WorldCon thing it's a very big part of your professional life when you work in the fields we work in. And it sucks. And
it is a difficult, stressful time of year. To have that on top of the holidays was not delightful.
And as a result of that, we've been trying to work out ways to deal with it more healthily next time around, should we be nominated, and also to deal with different coping mechanisms.
One of the coping mechanisms involved is about to make an appearance. What did I get? We got ourselves gifts when we got the nominations.
Yeah. You didn't get yourself the excellent shoes?
No.
Because those were going to be if we won.
Those were going to be if if I won, I was going to get the excellent shoes. But Alistair found a fun consolation prize.
Never talk to me about that enormous yellow plastic sun again.
Say hello to his not-so-little friend.
This is the Ark. Those of you of a certain age who watched the original Transformers cartoon, yes, it's the Transformers spaceship. Yes, it does turn into a robot. His arm is here because standing on my windowsill, he is slightly shorter than my monitor.
He reaches the top of the monitor. I'm at the point now where I'm going to have him hold up the ring light like the Statue of Liberty.
To give you an example of size.
Yeah. Well, how about something else for size comparison that people are much more familiar with?
Chungus is his leg.
I'm
a leg!
Also, Chungus has decided that today he's a corgi in a hoodie. Because when is Ben's?
When is Ben's?
Right. Okay. Oh, yes. He's your giant son as opposed to our little yeasty boy. For those of you who are new to the chat,
let us speak to you of the Gospel of the Chungus.
Welcome to Chungus. Chungus is our sourdough starter. This is literally a jar. See? There he is.
Show him the butt.
There's our sourdough starter.
That sounded very weird.
Well, I will also show you the butt of the corgi. he is almost 2 years old. Look at this, year and a half. Who rose to internet fame, I guess is the way of putting it. As you can see, Chungus has an extensive wardrobe of costumes made by...
Many of them made by Wendy.
Many of them made by the amazing Wendy in the chat. I mean, there's a whole guild with, like, its own coat of arms.
I believe, that you've very sensibly dropped the membership details.
I think I did.
And yes, good
I
job.
did put them in the chat.
Jolly good.
There's like a wish list, there's a bio page, there's the whole 9 yards. Chungus makes focaccia now.
Oh, he does.
Which is why he hasn't been fed yet, because Alistair's making focaccia for dinner tomorrow night. Right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I
good.
am.
He's going to make focaccia for dinner tomorrow night, and Chungus has started making an appearance in the focaccia.
Oh, also, finish your thought.
Go ahead.
The last batch of focaccia I made, which was the first experimental chunkaccia.
No.
No.
No, denied. It may not
No.
be called chunkaccia.
Very well.
God, that was really bright.
I discovered the most useful category on streaming services I've ever encountered, which is movies under 90 minutes.
Nice.
Because I'm trying to broaden my horizons a little bit.
Chunkaccia. Right, he needs like an Italian vest outfit now. Great.
Yes.
No, see, if you keep seeing that, people are going to put him in a little Mario costume.
It's me, the worst big brother in all of the video gaming.
Okay.
Luigi hates me.
What were you talking about?
I was pointing out that the best category on any streaming service I've ever encountered is movies under 90 minutes.
Yes.
Because I was able to educate myself. I watched A Hard Day's Night, the first Beatles movie, for the first time ever, and it's really funny. Whilst I was making the focaccia, because
Wendy wearily opens the Google Doc. Well, hold that thought. Leave it open, because I got another one to mention when he's done.
And yeah, it's good. I make bread now. Bread's cool.
I make bread. Bread is cool. EA's own Tauntaun sleeping bag.
Yes.
Oh, crap. So I'm remembering a friend of mine who, years and years and years ago, made the best Halloween costume ever. Which is he dressed up like Gurr from Invader Zim. And, like, he had a big frame that he, like, stretched the costume over. And the best part about that costume is that he then made the hoodie, the dog hoodie, that would go over the giant frame of the costume that he could zip up. And now I need a Gurr costume for Chungus.
The end.
Yes. Okay. But the other costume I was thinking of was related to the fact that we've invited we've identified the people that we want to invite to be guests for the first half of the year. And we are in the process of contacting them, and some of them are other people who stream that may have well-established visual brands that translate into crocheted form. So I'm just going to say, if you have crochet costumes for an orange, that might be a good thing to look for in the future.
Just saying.
Friends
to enemies, enemies to friends. Complex lessons learned along the way.
Where did that come from?
It's one of the running gags in Family Guy that still works, where Stewie asks Brian how his novel's going, and it starts off with, "So how's it going, Brian? Seeing transitions going well?" And finishes with his voice impossibly high going, "So, people learn things. Typical lessons along the way. Enemies to friends, friends to enemies, that kind of thing." Mm-hmm.
So we talked about guests. We talked about what we do around here. We've gone on 9 million tangents already.
Which is the best possible way to do it. We should probably mention the new show.
We should mention the new show. And you were going to talk about Full Lid a little bit more.
Yes, I'll do Full Lid first.
You do Full Lid first.
Full Lid is our weekly pop culture newsletter. I write it, Marguerite.
Pezzy, you're right there with me. We're 10 minutes off the record.
Damn right.
Naomi
it's like
going
that, is it?
for the
All right,
throat.
then.
I see. Hey, Beastrogen, how's it going?
Anyway.
Get in line, Naomi. You're 2 tangents down. The Full Lid.
The Full Lid comes out on Friday at 5 p.m. and it is our weekly download of pop culture goodness. The first issue of the year came out last Friday and had some
Funny how that works.
had some stuff in it that was good. I wrote all of it. I couldn't remember anything now.
There we go.
This week has The Eternals and also a discussion of my favourite 21st century sitcom, which is just finished.
That's this coming Friday, right? The thing I'm editing tomorrow?
That's right.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And so, yeah, there's that. And I believe the next tangent down was Naomi asking about how my novel is going.
No, so first there was Full Lid, and then there was the new show.
Yes!
Right, so we talked, hi, this is EA. We run 4 podcasts. There is a 5th one starting in April. So 2 years ago, we had an associate editor for one of our shows who wanted to come back and be our jester in residence. And she wanted to just do something fun and whimsical and one-off. And so Cat's Cast was born. Cat's Cast was our April Fool's Day episode, which was a cat-themed story. It was delightful. We received lots of good positive feedback and lots of people asking for, where's the feed? Because there's 293 episodes, right? And we had to gently point out that the episode was released on the 1st of April. Well, the following year, Laura wanted to do it again, and we supported that. Hey, Mer! Hello to the raid. We're just telling everybody about Cat's Cast and how it came into being, so you have excellent timing. So the following year, Laura did another story and decided that Cat's Cast was going to have an April Fool's Day episode, which featured a dog story written by Sarah Gailey, which was also delightful. And again, we had lots of people asking, where's the rest of the feed? I want to hear all the stories. And again, we had to politely point out that this was an April 1st episode.
And this got Laura riled up in the best way.
So this year, Laura came back, and through a series of fascinating and interesting events, we've gone from Cat's Cast being a once-a-year phenomenon to a monthly podcast in 2022. It'll be launching in April. It will feature both some original fiction that will be available to the world, and there will be some additional fiction that's available just to our supporters, which we're looking forward to as an experiment. We've never done this before. We've never done... Well, that's not true. We have done some supporter-exclusive content, but the internet really likes cats, so
Apparently.
We're hoping cat-themed stuff will be very interesting. The other thing I would say is that kind of our higher-level supporters on Patreon are going to get to do some really cool stuff with Cat's Cast. So, fingers crossed, it goes well. Patreon cat fiction, we're looking forward to it. I think the theme of the show right now is because the internet loves cats. I'm not sure if Laura's going to change that, but more speculative cats. What could go wrong?
My ongoing pitch for the next Halloween episode being Pseudo Dog remains on file.
I know you want to do Pseudo Dog, but I think there are so many fun names. The other shows want to get in on the pun pet names, and you would like a toast fiction? Well, Naomi, I hear you might be the person to write toast fiction. Cat's Cast is open for submissions through the end of the month. I'm just saying. It's the 12th. You have time.
Exclusive St. Kilda tie-in.
Exclusive St. Tilda crossover fiction. You heard it here first. Okay, Naomi, you're on the hook. Now, I should be fair, because weren't you the one who said, hey, Naomi, you should do some Nightmare Before Christmas sort of stuff for St. Kilda? And in revenge, she wrote it so that you would have to read it.
That is correct.
So be careful. Is Snake Pod? Ooh, I like that one. That's a good name. Well done, Zalia.
Good sibilance.
Sibilance. Yes. There we go. All right, 30 minutes. How we doing, Pezzy? Have we gone on enough of a tangent? No, I only write goats for St. Kilda. Okay, fine. But, you volunteer. You volunteer as tribute. Oh, no. Okay. All right, fine. Cat, butter, toast, rubber band, perpetual motion machine.
Put it in a turbine.
Okay, Pezzy says we have at least 5 more minutes.
Oh, that's good, because Naomi asked how the novel's going.
Oh, yes. Okay, you may proceed. Okay, right. So that was the full lid. That was the upcoming 5th show from the Escape Artists. Cat's Cast coming in April 2022, edited by Laura Perlman. How's the novel going, Alistair?
Right now it's not, because we're coming back from the break and because I have a lot of stuff on at the moment. But
favorite episode of The West Wing? Celestial Navigation.
That being said, I'm learning how to schedule my week in a very different way, which so far is going well.
And you mistrust it because it is going well.
One of the very stark things it's teaching me is that when you become a freelancer, they hand you a keyboard a travel mug, and a big backpack full of trauma. And I don't have very much of that trauma at the moment. And it's really unsettling. All joking aside, it's really unsettling. Because my puppy brain, the part of my brain that goes, we should worry about things. This is going to be so great. Everyone you love will die. You know, that part of my brain, most nights now, just goes, I'm tired. I'm just like...
tucks its tail under, tucks its nose under its tail and goes in a circle.
And I don't trust it because
Because you're a kilt.
It's not just because I'm a kilt. It's also, and before I say this, I have to...
If I give you potatoes, would it help?
Yeah, always.
Okay,
Before I say this, I have to emphasize my experiences in freelance journalism are mundane. They are banal. And
They're still difficult.
I was going very bad. And I've had things which I've worked for a decade to put down. And in some cases still haven't. So being handed an opportunity to do literally that, and for it to just pretty much instantly happen, is very strange. So there's a lot of psychological and creative rebuilding going on at the moment. And that sounds really drastic, and it's really not. It's more just a sense of the volume has been turned down.
It's also January.
It's also January 12th.
And January, as described by Sarah Gailey, is the month where your brain is a glass ball and everything just slides off. Yeah. Nothing sticks. And so many people try to start new habits, new hobbies, new behaviors in January, and it's a very difficult month. And I'm just going to pause for a second because Naomi is right. You are a very good boy, and you are doing great.
Thank you. And thank you.
Yes.
So
January is the month of scheduling appointments and remembering what the heck you were doing.
And just the discovery of bins.
And trying to figure out where the bins are.
But all of that is a really roundabout way of saying that.
So Alia says, I'm still working through a lot of baggage from being a freelancer only for years. It's hard.
Thank you.
It is hard.
It really is. There's a super nerdy metaphor for it, and it was written by a dirtbag. But at the time it resonated, and it resonates even more now. There's a moment in very late run Stormwatch written by Warren Ellis, who's a piece of shit. But there's this whole story about the discovery of two Stormwatch officers who've been off the books for years, and these guys have been operating in the field alone
in the dark,
and they bring them in, and there is this euphoric moment where you think, great, they're going to be on staff, and the Batman analog breaks down. He just starts fucking crying, and there's just this incredibly powerful image of him being hugged by the designation is weatherman, hugged by the weatherman, the head of Stormwatch, just going, it's okay. Coming in from the cold is really hard, and it requires trust. And everything in creative freelance industries tells you not to trust. Everything.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And it doesn't help that those of us here in the UK are currently in the middle of a news cycle where what little trust we had in a functional government is rapidly eroding before our very eyes. It's a difficult month. Be kind to yourself. Do not put yourself under too much pressure unless that is the change you're trying to make.
Especially be kind to your Brits, especially at the moment. Because, and I'm not going to go all the way down into it, but the news cycle at the moment is a cycle of cultural abuse this country has been through for 4 decades, and it's never going to fucking stop. And this is one of the lowest points of it, and it sucks. And we're going to come out the other side, but at this point, all we can see is the hill.
The kids are asleep. Excellent analogy. It puts the news under the cup like the bug. Yeah, just new.
Put the news in the fridge. Do a Joey.
Yes, put it in the fridge, in the freezer, under the ice cubes. It is not a good time in the news. I, and you, to some extent, or at least I've encouraged you, have been very much no, Twitter, no, I'm sorry.
I have muted phrases recently. And my phone has made choral noises as I've done it.
Yes.
Mute Joe Rogan forever.
Yes. Hey, Forats, how you doing?
But all of this is a really roundabout way of saying the novel is going to come back to, I have 2 degrees. They're both in English. Yes. Quite soon.
Your word's good.
I word real good.
On paper.
Quite soon. But right now it's not.
It's not forgotten, but it is literally on the list. See, okay, point. See that whiteboard, the very corner of that whiteboard over there? That is the list of things to do this year.
Yes.
Hi, fellow English major. Yes. What do you do with the VA in
That
English?
fucking show. Avenue Q, which is my favourite musical, I actually saw live in the West End.
And then 4 times.
And
That long while
the
ago.
lights come down, the music swells. The first line is, "What do you do with a BA in English?" Everyone I went to is folded in half laughing. And I'm sitting there going, I paid money for you to attack me. What the hell, show?
Right. You and me to do some writing Zooms. Ooh.
Oh, I would like that. That's a good idea.
On the list, Naomi.
And nothing escapes her list. Hell no. I should also point out, and I swear we are coming to the end of this epic series of digressions. I should also point out that Naomi gave me...
Digressions? This is the content for tonight, folks. We're just going to do the... This is like...
It's all
no,
footnotes!
No. It's a French stream. Instead of having the salad first, we're going to have it last. Move on.
Naomi very genuinely gave me one of the best bits of creative advice I've ever been given. Because a few weeks ago, before Christmas, I was chatting to her about the novel, and I said, I've got to chapter 5, and it's really exciting. It ends really well, and everything's going on. And there was this very sympathetic silence across Discord, and she went, "Bestie, yeah, you know that's the first chapter, right?" And I looked at Marguerite, and she had this look.
So now that you're done with the warm-up...
And I was like, oh,
chapters 1
come
to 4
on!
need to go in the bin, and yes...
Although, as a weird aside, I actually finally... One of the things I do, and this is partially...
Pezzy, I love you. Thank you for this.
And this is partially a procrastination technique, and it's also partially a really good creative process.
Procrastination is the content tonight. Ta-da!
We
should do that again so Ducky can get the screenshot. Ta-da! Okay, cool.
I mentally cast the book. And I didn't have anybody for the lead character.
Hi, Caffeine. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Caffeine. And then I saw the trailer for Moonfall, which I will risk going to the cinema to see unless the COVID levels are horrifying.
I think you might be so in love with that movie from the trailers alone that you might literally rent out the cinema so that you can go and sit in the screening by yourself. I'm going to put that on my research
It's accurate.
list.
I'm not going to lie.
Might get you a very early birthday present. Or, when is it coming out?
End of February.
Okay, it'll be a late Valentine's Day present then.
I love you.
Do you guys know what we do for Valentine's Day?
This is so cool.
This is the weirdest thing ever. I don't know if we've ever told you this, but we are not big Valentine's Day people because, we're disgustingly cute and we love each other very much and do this all the time. Yes. So on Valentine's Day, our mercantile, mercenary little hearts have figured out the greatest hack, which is we go to IKEA.
No one's there.
No one's there. You get the restaurant to yourself, and it's lovely. We store up a list all year long, and Valentine's Day is like, we're gonna get meatballs, and we're gonna refill the candles, and get that thing that we want, and ain't nobody around, and it's delightful.
It is fantastic. It is so freaking good. Wendy, you should do it. Greg would love it.
Love it. Nobody's around. All the staff are quite grateful to have somebody in the building. Brilliant.
But yeah, Moonfall, which looks incredibly fucking stupid, and also like it's been made for me, I kind of feel like I should send Roland Emmerich a thank you note saying, "Dear Roland, you shouldn't have. I'm very glad you did."
Yes, exactly. That can be the title of the piece for the full length.
You shouldn't
Dear
have.
Roland Emmerich, you shouldn't have.
But the main English character in that, who's played by John Bradley from Game of Thrones and is now graduated to things that are good, spitting nothing but facts, that's my dude. Hyper-articulate, glasses-wearing Brit who desperately wants to live. Fuck yeah.
Say yes, Brian.
Say yes, Brian.
Exactly.
Meeting at a usual spot. Free bagels. Yes, he's my guy.
I was going to write something down, but we went... Oh, the cinema. I was going to see about renting you the cinema. Cinema for Moonfall. Maybe they'll do a... what was his last one? Maybe they'll double bill it for you with Edge of Tomorrow or whatever.
God, what was Emmerich's last one? Because it was fucking awful, and I really liked it. That doesn't narrow it down.
Hey, Sarah. Thanks for joining us. back to me getting here late every Wednesday. Don't worry about it. Valhalla awaits you all.
You are all always welcome.
Who told us recently that they had caught up on the Sunday stream while they were making soup? That just sounded like the most delightful, wonderful thing.
I still haven't done the pasta stream for my birthday. We really should get
How
around to
many
that.
tangents are we going to go on tonight?
All of them. By the way, we smashed the record.
Yeah, we've totally smashed the record for tangents. Here we are, 41 minutes in. I feel like I have to remind everybody, okay, please hydrate. Please have some water. Do you need a food? Do you need a snack? We have a cool snack for a break. Sarah Gailey, for aforementioned awesome, intelligent person, sent us fudge for Christmas, and it just arrived yesterday.
Yes.
So it's a little beat up, but it looks like it's going to be super tasty, and I'm totally going to have a piece of that.
I am never sorry to see food show up beaten up.
Thank you, Wendy.
Because, I mean...
Last film was Midway.
I've seen that. It's not very good. I really liked it.
I've seen that. Wasn't very good. I liked it. Is like Alistair's brand in 3 sentences.
Actually has
that
one...
could be a t-shirt.
It's also the platonic ideal of the Ed Skrein leading man movie. Ed Skrein is that slightly alien-looking dude who is the bad guy in the first Deadpool. And he's actually a really sweet guy. And he's one of these people who shows up and does really good work, and the movie is never good enough for him. But he's always like, it's all right, I'll hold it together. I'm Ed. I've got this. And he's...
I have very low expectations for a movie. To have fun is kind of my desire out of a movie. Making dinner while making this stream, so should I make biscuits and gravy? Yes.
Yes, you should. Yeah.
Always make biscuits and gravy.
Okay. Should we do the opening monologue?
I guess we could get around to the opening monologue.
At this point, the monologue.
Yes, perhaps that would be the better way of phrasing it. Should we do the monologue? Right. Everybody have some water?
And this includes me, so...
Yeah, have you?
Clink, bitch.
Ooh, it went all blurry. I have to do that again. Behave. Sorry, camera's being difficult. It's kind of like, I don't want to focus. Okay, it's January for the camera.
No one wants to focus. It's a Wednesday in January. Suck it up.
Hey, hi, Juju. Nice. Thanks for joining us. Partner brought tea. Good.
That's some good play there.
Corpse counters are being warmed up. Here we go.
I can feel the turbine spinning up.
Oh, it's like the sound like Godzilla makes right there.
Drum and bass.
I love that one. I love that noise so much. It's one of my favorite noises.
I think when I'm done with the Hunger Games movies, the big dumb monsters punching each other movies might be next.
I mean, how can you go wrong with that, right? Shall we do the opening monologue?
Yeah,
let's just call it the monologue.
Let's do the monologue. It'll be fine.
Oh, Ducky has made such a selection for you folks. Just to warn you. How is the volume? We keep hitting the red
out
a little bit. So if we are coming across too loud, just give a shout and we will turn things down. But yes, the opening monologue, you probably heard about this one. We eat at the worst Michelin-starred restaurants ever. Now, I'm going to warn you, folks. There are some images that go along with this reading, which you may want to have to hand, or you may not when you hear some of them described.
The words paint a picture. Unfortunately, so does the food.
Right.
Oh, before we dive into this, this is probably the closest we will come to Stanley Tucci style semi-food writing, and for now, so closest will come for now.
I disbelieve.
I swear this is the last time we'll talk about Moonfall this week. My favorite random fact about Moonfall is that Stanley Tucci was cast in it and then couldn't make his flight due to COVID restrictions. Now, I would have believed this.
Make his flight.
But my favourite book last year was Taste, which was Tucci's book about his relationship with food. And it's lovely and sweet and kind and funny. And
a really good read. Good right before bed read.
Yeah, and full of really good recipes. And there is a line in there about, which is word for word, I made a very expensive movie in 2003 that you should never watch.
We're pretty sure that was the core.
The Tooch has quite a finely tuned, at best not, Omita, and he lives in London. So I would not be remotely surprised if he signed up for this, read the script, and then went, "Oh no, my plane, it's broken." Anyway, Bros Leche. We eat at the worst Michelin-starred restaurant ever. There is something to be said about a truly disastrous meal. A meal forever indelible in your memory because it's so uniquely bad it can only be deemed an achievement. The sort of meal where everyone involved was definitely trying to do something. It's just not entirely clear what. I'm not talking about a meal that's poorly cooked or a server who might be planning your murder. That sort of thing happens in the fat lump of the bell curve of bad. Instead, I'm talking about the long tail stuff. The sort of meals that make you feel as though the fabric of reality is unraveling. The ones that cause you to reassess the fundamentals of capitalism and whether or not
you're living in a simulation
in which someone failed to properly program this particular restaurant. The ones where you just know somebody's going to lift a metal dome off a tray and reveal a single blue or red pill. Yeah, I'm talking about those meals. At some point, the only way to regard that sort of experience without going mad is as some sort of community improv theatre. You sit in the audience shouting suggestions like a restaurant and eating something that resembles food and the exchange of money for goods. And in this instance, the goods are a goddamn meal. All of these suggestions go completely ignored. This is how I have come to regard our dinner at Bros Leche's only Michelin-starred restaurant as a means of preserving what's left of my sanity. It wasn't dinner, it was just dinner theatre. Before we go any further, I would like to apologise to the nation of France and the entire French language for the 15 ways I will pronounce Michelin tonight.
Content warning. Accents. Isn't this an Italian restaurant?
Yeah, but that doesn't
So you're going to butcher Italian as well as French.
I love you.
I love you too.
No, scratch that, because dinner was not involved. I mean, dinner played a role, the same way Godot played a role in Beckett's eponymous play. The entire evening was about it, and guess what? It never showed. So no, we can't call it dinner theatre. Instead, we will just say it was theatre. Very, very expensive theatre. I realise that not everyone is willing or able to afford a ticket to Waiting for Gatto. Oh, that's choice.
Waiting for Gâteau. For those of you who don't know, Gâteau is French for cake.
And so this post exists to spare you our torment. We had plenty of beautiful meals in Lecce that were not this one. And if you want a lovely meal out, I'll compile a list. But for now, let us rehash whatever the hell this was. We headed to the restaurant with high hopes. 8 of us in total led into a cement cell of a room, Drake pumping through invisible speakers. It was sweltering hot, no other customers were present. The decor had the chicness of an underground bunker where one would expect to be interrogated for the disappearance of an ambassador's child.
Oh, did Nate write this?
Earlier that day, we'd seen a statue of a bear chiseled into marble centuries ago by someone who had never actually seen a bear. This is a perfect allegory for our evening. It's as though someone had read about food and restaurants, but had never experienced either, and this was their attempt to create it.
Oh my god, the Matrix analogy makes perfect sense now.
What followed was a 27-course meal. Note that course and meal and 27 are being used literally here, which spanned liberally here, and which spanned 4.5 hours, and which made me feel like I was a character in a Dickensian novel. Because I cannot impart this enough, there was nothing even close to an actual meal served. Some courses were slivers of edible paper. Some shots were glasses of vinegar. Everything tasted like fish, and even the non-fish courses, and nearly everything, including the noodles, which was by far the most substantial dish we had, was served cold.
Okay, tangent. We've been on a 17-course 4-hour dinner in
Helsinki.
In Helsinki. And it was nothing like this.
About halfway through, I did go, did we die?
Is this Valhalla? Yes. Amassing 24 of them together amounted to a meal, the same way amassing 24 toddlers together amounts to one middle-aged adult. I've checked TripAdvisor. Other people who have eaten at Bros were served food. Some of them got meat and ravioli and more than one slice of bread. Some of them were served things that needed to be eaten with forks and spoons.
We got a tablespoon of crab. I've tried to come up with hypotheses for what happened. Maybe the staff just ran out of food that night. Maybe they confused our table with that of their ex-lovers. Maybe they were drunk. But we got 12 kinds of foam, something that I could only describe as an oyster loaf that tasted like Newark Airport.
And a teaspoon of savory ice cream that was olive flavored.
I'm still not over that, to be honest. I thought it was going to be pistachio.
Just the sound of despair in the voice there. Oh.
There is no menu at Ross, just a blank newspaper with a QR code linking to a video featuring one of the chefs, presumably, against a black background, talking directly into the camera about things unrelated to food.
Was that like did he hold up a newspaper with the date?
He occasionally used the proper noun of the restaurant as an adverb, the way a Smurf would. This means that you can't order anything besides the tasting menu, but also that you are at the mercy of the servers to explain to you what the hell is going on. The servers will not explain to you what the hell is going on.
They will not do this in Italian. They will not do this in English. They will not play Pictionary with you on the blank newspaper as a means of communicating what you are eating. On the rare occasion where they did offer an explanation for a dish, it did not help.
These are made with rancid ricotta. The server said, a tiny fried cheese ball in front of each of us.
I'm sorry, did you say rancid? You meant fermented, right? Aged?
No, rancid.
Okay, I say in Italian, but I think something must be lost in translation, because it can't be...
Rancido.
He clarified.
Another course, a citrus foam, was served in a plaster cast of the chef's mouth. Absent utensils, we were told to lick it out of the chef's mouth in a scene that I'm pretty sure was stolen from an Eastern European horror movie. For reasons that could fill an entire volume of Time-Life Mysteries of the Unknown, this item is for sale at their gift shop, in case you want to have a restraining order filed against you this holiday season.
Now at this point, I may have started quietly freaking out. A hierarchical pecking order was being established, and when you're the one desperately slurping substance out of the plaster cast of someone else's mouth, it is safe to say you are at the bottom of that pyramid. We'd been beaten into some sort of weird psychological submission, like the Stanford prison experiment, but with less prison and more aspic. That's the only reason I have for why we didn't leave during any of these incidents.
When a member of our party stood up during the lengthy stretch between courses to go have a cigarette outside and was scolded to sit down.
When one member of our party was served nothing for 3 consecutive courses because they couldn't figure out how to accommodate her food allergies.
When Rand was served food he was allergic to, repeatedly, because they didn't care enough to accommodate his.
When a server reprimanded me for eating. These reconstituted orange slices, one per person, were a course. I asked if I could eat the real orange that had been served alongside it. We'd all gotten one, and at this point I was extremely hungry. Yes, the server said, annoyed, but you aren't really supposed to. He let me have 2 segments, and then whisked the rest of the fruit away.
No, we just sat there while the food was portioned out, a teaspoon at a time, a persistent and sustained sort of agony, like slowly peeling off a Band-Aid. That's the problem with a tasting menu. With so many courses, you just assume things are going to turn around. Every cooked dish is a chance for redemption. Maybe the meal was like Nick Cage's career. You have to wait a really long time for the good stuff, but there is good stuff.
Wow, that's a perfect analogy. But, no. We kept waiting for someone to bring us something, anything that resembled dinner, until the exact moment when we realized it would never come. It was when our friend Lisa tried to order another bottle of wine.
Would you like red or white?
The server asked. What are we having for the main? She inquired.
His face blanched.
Yeah.
The main, madame? We're about to move on to dessert.
We sat for a moment, letting this truth settle over us. Because by now it had been hours, and at no point had we been served anything that could be considered dinner. There was one time when I thought it might have happened. The staff placed dishes in front of us and then swirled sauces on the dishes, and I clapped my hands, excitedly waiting for something to be plated to top those beautiful sauces. Instead, someone came by with an eyedropper and squirted drops of gelée onto our plates.
We have infused these droplets with meat molecules.
The server explained and left.
I don't know if our experience was the norm. I've looked TripAdvisor's photos for Bros up and down, and other people who've gone there seem to have been fed actual food. Like, even this person, who was served the same weird meat droplet course, at least got it with a triangle of foamy-looking bread. Do you know what it's like to envy someone for a piece of foamy-looking bread? It's not great.
There's no main? Lisa said to us in disbelief after the server had retreated.
Hey, I said, my hand resting on her arm. She was shaking slightly from low blood sugar. It's okay.
They haven't fucking fed us, she said, her eyes wide.
I know, I said, but look, we're in this amazing country, and I don't know about you, but nothing is going to stop me from enjoying tonight.
She nodded.
Because I'm surrounded by my favourite people, I said, and I squeezed Lisa's hand for emphasis. And I'm at my favourite restaurant.
Lisa spluttered, laughing. No more food was coming, but there was something freeing in that. Because this meal had never been about us to begin with. It sure as hell wasn't about the food. There's something glorious about finally giving up.
We sat through a few more courses, including a marshmallow flavoured like cuttlefish, and a dish called frozen air, which literally melted before you could eat it, which honestly felt like a goddamn metaphor for the night.
And then someone came in and demanded we stand and exit the restaurant. Thinking we were getting kicked out, we gleefully followed. Instead, we were led across the street to a dark doorway and into the bros' laboratory. A video of the shirtless kitchen staff doing extreme sports played on a large screen TV while a chef cut us comically tiny slivers of fake cheese. Brand was, of course, allergic to it.
The bill arrived. The meal cost more than any other we'd eaten during our trip by an order of magnitude of 3. They'd given us balloons with the restaurant's name across it, and the chef emerged and insisted on posing with us for a Polaroid that we did not ask for.
We were finally released into the night, after every other restaurant in town had closed, ensuring that no food would be consumed that evening.
That was abhorrent, we all agreed as we shoved the balloons into a dumpster. I made everyone take one with the baffling logic that they'd somehow help offset the cost of the meal. We howled at how ridiculous it was and how they poisoned Rand and how maybe we should have known that a restaurant named Bros was going to be a disaster.
It was like an awful show that we had front row tickets to. But wasn't there something glorious about sharing it together, the way that a terrible experience makes you all closer?
No, someone said, and we laughed even harder.
P.S. The next day, one of the staff tried contacting the only single female member of our party via Instagram. Hey, I served you last night, he wrote. She immediately blocked him.
Bros, via degli Accia, 273100 Lecce, LE, Italy. Cost, a rather mortifying 130 to 200 euros per person. Note, the TripAdvisor reviews show a lot of elaborate courses, and these were all way more food than anything we ate. I cannot express to you how little we were fed, and I'm not a particularly big eater. Allergy and dietary restrictions were largely ignored. Recommendation? Do not eat here. I cannot express this enough. This was single-handedly one of the worst wastes of money in my entire food and travel writing career. Oh, God. Literally how it finishes.
200 euros. I would be riotous.
200,
absolutely riotous.
200 euros per head. You could rent the entire floor or one really nice suite in a pretty high-end hotel.
There were 8 of them. Meal. I mean, come on.
There is apparently a sequel to this where the chef responds, by the way.
Ducky, can we do that one next week?
To be continued.
To be continued. Yes, absolutely. And in fact, this is actually a pretty good place to take a break. We've been streaming about an hour, so why don't you all take a few minutes to stand up and stretch? And the chef's response is exactly what you want.
There's a picture of a horse.
You're going to do it in Werner Herzog voice.
It is time to discover the truth about food.
Oh my God.
I would like to see the horsey.
I would like to see the whole thing. Go and take a stretch, everybody. Grab yourself a snack and a drink of water. Make sure you've taken care of any pets or medications or any food that you need to do. And we will be back in a few minutes.
Hydrate, don't hydrate.
Hydrate, don't hydrate. We'll be right back, everybody. If I can find the right button to push. Okay, I'm going to push this button. Let's see what happens.
Bye.
I have no idea where they got judges to actually give that restaurant a star, or if they gave the restaurant a star and then switched chefs or something. I mean, what did they give the judge? A meal? Yeah, they didn't give the reviewer a meal.
So, stream stacks. Let's do it.
It's the very beat up box of fudge that finally arrived. But so now we're gonna play Fudge Roulette because there is a tasting menu of the fudge. So we're gonna pick one and see what we get. This will be fun. Which is also going to involve us eating on stream. So, you know. For
Content
kids.
warning. Noms.
Content warning noms. Should I just pick one randomly?
Do it.
This one's orangey, so I'm hoping it might be the pumpkin pie. Let's find out.
Amazing scenes.
I can't tell. It's either pumpkin pie or apple pie. Break it in half and try.
Break it down.
Yes. What were you just singing?
Don't touch this. Break it down.
No, that sounded like Freakazoid. 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 Yeah, exactly.
Here to save the nation. So stay tuned to this station.
You just dropped the piece of the topping on the floor, and I don't get it.
I'm saving it for later.
Okay, fine. It's just apple pie, and it's delightful.
Oh my goodness.
I'm eating fudge. Excuse me, Captain Lucas. Noms are not for the lonely. Well, Wendy,
would you like it back?
come and steal it. For those of you who've missed it, Wendy has posted some TikToks recently of some stuff we did a while ago involving Gertrude Robinson stealing Peter Lucas's waffle. The meanie.
Wendy, you should know, after that last one you posted, driving back from Birmingham with Zalia in the back of the car. We drove past a drive-through McDonald's.
I'm eating your piece of fudge. Ha ha ha.
And we all kind of looked at each other funny. And pretty much as one went, McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's. And the temptation for Marguerite to order a single black coffee and just drive away was overwhelming.
Overwhelming, but I did behave. He got crumbs in the lonely. So over the holidays, when I was very sad, my stepmom suggested I go out of the house and eat something fun. The first restaurant, a French fusion yakitori place. Ooh,
That sounds
good.
cool.
I went to was completely booked and did not do takeout, but the maitre d' suggested I go to their sister restaurant across the street. Sad and hungry me does not make good financial choices, and when the very cute bartender suggested 3 small plate courses at $30 each, I didn't do the math. Oh dear.
If the food
I hope
was good,
it was
though,
fantastic and it lifted your mood and it did not cause you too much financial hardship. Hopefully the meal was very tasty. I mean, oh, no! Damn it.
I'm breaking this in half because I love you.
Yes, you are. Because you dropped, he's my bit on the floor. There we go.
How was the bit I dropped on the floor and then picked up from the floor and ate with my face your bit after you had another piece of it which I did not drop on the floor or eat with my face?
Math is a mystery. It just involves me having more fudge than you. I regret nothing. Are you trying to no-sell me? Are you trying to do the math in your head? In my house, we often say pigs are smarter than bears, but they can't ride motorcycles. That is a fascinating analogy. And all of a sudden the chat... Oh, there we go. There we are. All of a sudden the chat froze, and I was like, where are you? I know. That look. Yes, exactly. Right, we have some shenanigans to read from the lovely St. Kilda folks. But I'm trying to think about if there's anything else we want to talk about. How's work been this week?
Busy and focused.
Busy and focused? It's been my company all hands this week, and we don't do those in person anymore. So it's Zoom all the time, all day long, which has been good and dense and intense and a lot. Crab rangoons.
Oh my goodness me. Yeah.
Even if it did contain real crab, why would a crab rangoon not contain real crab? I'm slightly confused. Maybe this is a preference? If it's a crab rangoon and it doesn't have real crab in it, what does it have? I'm afraid to ask. The answer to that question is going to be that imitation crab stick stuff, which is like fish that they dye.
Would those be fish sticks?
sticks made of
Sticks.
sticks. Sticky, stick. Oh, I love that song. I love that song so much. Anyway, they're named after the shape. Oh, interesting. Oh, yes. Cream cheese is mandatory. Imitation crab. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Face crab, but mostly cream cheese. Yeah. See, they don't do crab rangoons that I've found in this country. Or
joy. Or fun.
I'm trying not to overly generalize.
We do chips, though.
In fact, there's a new place right by us that
Dutch
is apparently
fish and
like a Dutch fish and chips. It's not fish and chips. It's
just
chips. It's like a Dutch chain, and they just do paper cones of chips with like a gazillion billion.
They've been open
sauces.
weeks. I haven't eaten there once. I'm amazed.
They're gonna pull your Celt card if we don't go at this point. Lox rangoon with minced onion and everything bagels. Oh, I'm putting that on the list. That sounds really good. They are super easy to make, but they violate one of our very, very few but hard and fast kitchen rules, which is we will not deep fry things
because if
in
we
the
do,
house.
It will never stop.
It is not a technology we are allowed to perfect. Sally said, where do the spirits of dead Piscine life forms cross into the fish stick? Thank you.
There are many reasons you are my friend. There is now one more. Bistrogen, I believe it's Scarborough or Whitby, but in one of those two just hubs of horror, there is an ice cream statue outside an ice cream store that's screaming. It is screaming. I'm not kidding. It's a cone with 3 scoops in it and red sauce, and from a certain angle, it's doing this. You'll know.
That sounds horribly creepy.
A comic called Let's Make Dumplings. Kiwi, thank you for the recommendation. I haven't picked up my comics for the week, and I'm going to go check that out. See if
it sounds delightful, but the problem is, I don't want to perfect how to... Whitby. Pezzy says it's in Whitby.
That checks out, Whitby.
I don't want to know how to deep fry, because if I know how to do it well, then I'll do it often, and that's not a good skill. Plus, it smells. And the fan over the stove in the kitchen is not particularly powerful, and I don't trust it to deal with the amount of steam and smell produced by deep frying. Plus, it's like a treat. Like, whenever I go out to a restaurant, I try to order things, or I prioritize ordering things that I wouldn't make for myself at home. And we're both fairly accomplished cooks. So, the perfectly deep fried sweet potato fries, for example, you can't do those at home. You've got to have the slurry that you dip them in and then the really high heat that you cook them in. And I don't have that at home. So when we go out, I order sweet potato fries, that kind of thing. I want to go to Whitby because you can do fossil hunts. Yes, I have a lovely jet necklace. It's the only thing I wanted. We went to Scarborough for a convention that shall not be named. It was not an enjoyable experience. But then we went on a trip to Whitby so that we could take photos of the Abbey for a Pseudopod episode.
And eat chips.
And, well, you were there to eat chips, yes. And I wanted a jet necklace, which I bought as well. And it's, the design is of the round window, stained glass window from the Abbey.
It would be Abbey, yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
A very, very long time ago, I got most of the way through planning a live tabletop Cthulhu module.
Wendy, have you found a picture of it?
Which would have been played in one of the beach huts in Whitby, set on the night.
Oh my god!
She's found it!
And it's got the... Is that supposed to be the cherry in its mouth with the...
No, because the cherry's on the back. The cherry's its jaunty chapeau.
That's just horrible and mean and and bad. Just no. Yeah. Whitby Goth Weekend, very popular. We did not go on Goth Weekend.
Britain does not have a cream cheese shortage.
Room.
We have moral vacuum, but we don't have a cream cheese shortage.
To my knowledge, we have no cream cheese shortage. No, that is correct. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you.
Should we do a thing?
What thing do you want to do?
We need to talk about mice.
Do we need to talk about mice?
We need to talk about mice.
That sounds very ominous. So, our shenanigans this evening, hint, come on button. Go,
In your
button.
own time.
There we go.
In your own
All
time.
right, okay.
Here we are.
Will be some of the lovely little tidbits about the island of St.
Because
Kilda.
St. Kilda is a delightful place.
The innocent, family-friendly, wonderful, non-occult island of St. Kilda.
Shall we? Let's.
Go ahead. Hopefully you guys have the links to all of this coming up. Yes, we're going to pick things off the Tumblr account.
Oh, steamed boiled dumplings in the comic as well. Cool.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Let's make dumplings and let's make ramen. Thank you for that. I will report back.
Hey, JJ. Thanks for joining us.
Image. A photo of two mice stood on pine cones. Text reads, whilst mice are omnivores, they are most typically known to eat a variety of seeds and grains. Alongside this, the mice on St. Kilda also eat the carcasses of dead animals. A photo of a museum information board with a picture of a mouse. Text reads, stowaway mice. Field mice arrived in St. Kilda by staking sails on boats. Norse ships, what it says, Norse ships carried field and house mice from Scandinavia to St. Kilda. Research at National Museum Scotland shows that DNA evidence does not support this idea, and the field mice probably came from mainland Britain. When the last people left St. Kilda in 1930, the field mice remained and are still thriving, unlike the house mice, which died out within a few years.
That's not ominous.
Not at all.
Oh, dear.
Mouse wars. Never draw your dirk when a blow will do it, and never come to blows when you have the option to run away like a coward. A black background with a white silhouette of a dirk, a small dagger of Scottish origin. Text on the dirk reads, never draw your dirk when a blow will do.
Matthias!
In the bottom right corner is the St. Kilda logo, a dagger with the words, The Secret of St. Kilda, laid over it in grayscale.
Double the size of regular mice. So, very hungry, chunky
Mousezilla.
boys. Mousezilla. Exactly.
Just go squeak.
Squeak!
All voiced by Jason Statham. I'm a fucking mouse.
I'm fucking mad.
That was really good.
That was good! Good!
Oh.
I hope the mic picked that up well. Nice.
Early inhabitants of St. Kilda used to shear sheep using a method called plucking. This involved removing the fleece from the sheep by tearing it off with their bare hands. A photo shows 4 sheep on a grassy hill. Behind them is the sea, islands jutting from it. A transparent grey banner reads, early inhabitants of St. Kilda used to steal blah blah. Cool.
Tearing it off with their bare hands? Can you imagine?
Sheep can kick, dude. That would hurt.
That would hurt. It's called ruing. Okay, no.
It's called sheep assault is what it's called.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it does shed, but at the same time, just... I mean, and then they run, and then you gotta like... I mean, it would take a whole bloody day!
Rip. Keep still, you bastard.
Oh my god.
St. Kildans in general were said to have developed great eyesight, so when someone from St. Kilda tells you something is coming, believe them. Each year, the Ladies' Association of the Free Church would select one young divinity student to leave his studies for 12 months and go to teach on St. Kilda. Whilst they were allowed to turn this position down, it seems the young men had absolutely no say in their selection.
Congratulations, you've been selected for a job you never applied for. What could be more ominous than that?
Have you seen Midsummer? What's Midsummer? Get the boat!
Oh my god, that's terrible. They tear off their wool chunk, Hulk Hogan style.
When Lady Grange produced letters supposedly proving her husband to be plotting against the government, he had her kidnapped. For the next 13 years, she would be passed between remote Scottish islands until her death in 1745. One such island was Hirtha, also known as St Kilda, which she described as a veiled, nasty, stinking, poor isle.
An uncharitable description, but understandable given the circumstances. Hold on a second. Naomi says, her husband then voted that witchcraft was real. Man. Oh. Into the sea with him.
Yeah, but there was a historical figure who needed the mother of all dick punches.
I will virtually, absolutely take some biscuits and gravy. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Right here.
American Diner coffee. Pour it straight into my brown, thick ceramic mug. Yes, and pass the International Foods creamer. French vanilla. He was the only person to vote against the repeal of killing witches.
Almost like, he had some stuff he was dealing with.
He needs to take a long walk off a short pier.
In an attempt to evade capture, Fulmars would excrete a vile-smelling oil from their beak and nostrils into the face of the fowler. St Kildans were rarely deterred, however, as the stench of the oil already pervaded the island. They actually used to burn it as fuel.
Oh, that paints a mental image I just don't need about Georgie. Okay, let's move on.
Did you know, when St Kilda was evacuated, mainland residents gathered on the pier to catch a glimpse of the St Kildans, assuming them to be strange and foreign creatures?
Of course, this misconception was just a result of ignorance and a lack of communication with the distant isle, as everyone who lived on St Kilda in 1930 was 100% human.
That's the banner you actually see when you come to the island. All inhabitants 100% human.
Yeah, I love how the 1930 is underlined here for emphasis. Fulmer oil is proper grim, Wendy says. I've been hooked on by a baby Fulmer, and it was a formative experience. Oh my, you broken Alistair. Hooked on by a baby Fulmer sounds like a goth band.
I've got my Sisters of Mercy album.
Right.
Also, I'm always here for a species where evolution has gone combat vomit.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting evolutionary choice. Oh, here's more.
More details. Okay. Great.
On January 22nd, 1732, Rachel Chisley, Lady Grange, was taken from her Edinburgh lodgings, ending up being imprisoned on the remote Scottish archipelago of St Kilda. It's an extraordinary tale of a privileged, strong woman being spirited away from her home in the old town. Cassell's Old and New has a wee bit about it, stating she was seized with violence, knocking out some of her teeth.
Oh my God.
And tying a cloth over her head, bore her forth as if she had been a corpse. The bit about the corpse relates to the fact that later a funeral attended by her children was faked by her husband. With Lady Grange dispatched first to Pulmays and eventually onto the Western Isles, where she lived in a primitive stone cleat, a stone storage hut, or bothy, uniquely found on remote isles. A bit of background on the lady herself: she was born the child of John Chisley of Edinburgh, who was convicted of murder and publicly hanged for his crime in the city where she was just 10. Raised as one of many children, Rachel met her future husband just 6 months her junior in the early 1700s, marrying him in 1707 as the Act of Union formally bound Scotland and England, becoming Lord and Lady Grange. The marriage was not a happy one. No kidding. The term unlikely bedfellows has been used, and that she allegedly kept a razor blade under her pillow to remind him of her volatile nature, and that she was the daughter of a murderer. He was apparently forced to marry her at the point of a gun owing to a pregnancy out of wedlock. So, literal shotgun wedding.
I'll fucking stab you, son.
And they chopped his hand off. Her husband was doing a Jacobite rebellion. Chopped his hand off.
Did a rebellion.
Wait a minute. Murderer, not the head of a thief. The murderer. So, no hand of glory. The household was a hotbed of intrigue. Erkin may have been at the beck and call of the Westminster government, but his brother was a more complex creature who became known as Bobbin John, a man of contraries. He voted for the union of the countries, but the Earl of Mar, to call him by his title, was at the head of the Jacobite uprising later that year. Lord Grange was in favor of the rebellion, but kept it quiet in public circles due to his esteemed public position. As his marriage descended into trouble, due in no small part to his infidelity, he became convinced that Lady Grange would expose his traitorous views. She was as the manager of his affairs, she was regularly privy to secrets relating to her husband's affairs, including the reality that Preston House was being used as a meeting place for those interested in the Jacobite Revolution. Although her husband frequently wrote her flattering letters from London as her frustration grew over his infidelity and political activity, suspicions grew that she would try to put a stop to one by blowing the whistle on the other. He roped in colleagues to deal with his rife, enraging her further by making sure the lock to his study was changed to prevent her gaining access to his papers. And then it talks about the plan where they kidnapped her and hauled her away. She would never see him or her children again, with friends and neighbors left mystified by her disappearance. And then it talks about the funeral was held for her. She spent nearly 10 years in exile before dying in Skye in 1745, all the while still legally married. Wow. She was decently interred shortly after her death at a churchyard, but for some unknown reason, a second funeral was held sometime after, where a crowd gathered to watch a coffin filled with turf and stones put to rest in the ground. 3 funerals. Nice. What's this? It's such a good story, and they chopped his hand off. Her dad, after he died, he was a murderer. He was in London with a girlfriend, and she threatened him. The post was so infrequent, it was so hard to tell anyone, and she didn't speak Gaelic. Oh, wow, gosh.
Holy shit, what a deeply horrible
woman.
way to go.
Exactly. I'm looking through to see that's a very long post. I'm seeing if there's any more little fun bits. Well, there's all the lovely, lovely art, and of course, all the fantastic St. Kilda posts about how we all love all of these characters. I'm just scanning through here to see if there's any other good bits. No, there's just lots of fantastic fan art and the vibes of the playlists on the live listens is so supreme vibes, the absolute best of vibes. It's a Ministry of Defense post out there. Oh. No, okay, I must close this because otherwise I'm just going to scroll through Tumblr all night looking at all of the St. Kilda stuff. It is such a mood. And a crashed World War I plane. Oh, wow, nice.
We're rocking up on Doctor Who's 60th anniversary and it's never been there once. What the actual hell?
We should... I mean, what are we going to do about that? But still, that's fascinating. Tumblr scroll, right? I know. I got to be careful. Is that our TikTok? TikTok is the reason why I'm going to reorganize my refrigerator this weekend. So, I blame them.
Produce in the door.
Yeah, Viking altars. Imagine that. St. Kilda is a very good podcast. I wish you all a very good podcast. Yes, exactly.
It's a hell of a show. And we're both really happy to be part of it. Naomi and Mick and everyone else do good. Which we're
going to talk about a whole lot more next week.
Yes.
So speaking about future streams... Hey, Ducky, that's your cue. We haven't got a firm plan on content right now. So we've done spooky stories in the past. We've done fun stories in the past. We've done spooky games in the past. We've done some
episode 3 of Scarlet Hollow is on the way. We've asked.
It's not available yet. Don't worry.
We've checked.
We're definitely keeping an eye out for it. But we thought Beasterton, I heard St. Kilda is good, and you are, in fact,
And you were very good in it, too.
You were very good in it. We thought we might run a poll tonight. Their bell was one they stole from a wrecked ship.
Oh, that's
what?
So that's so badass.
I wish you a very merry podcast. Whose bell was one they stole from a wrecked ship? Are we going to play some RPGs? Well, that's what we're here to ask people. Do folks have thoughts, feelings, opinions on some stuff they'd like to see us do when we're not afterward? Well, God, come on, Margaret, finish your thought.
What good?
On the stream, because we're going to talk to Naomi and Mick next week. Scarlet Hollow is not yet available. Chapter 3 is not available yet. As soon as it is, we are definitely going to do it. Don't worry. But in the meantime, St. Kilda's church bell was stolen from a wrecked ship. Oh.
That's not
not haunted. Not haunted.
Good Lord.
We are looking for some stuff or some suggestions about... Yes, we're going to see Naomi on the screen next week, Beasterton. That is correct. Naomi and Mick will be our guests next week.
There will be faces.
There will be faces. So we are looking for suggestions for stuff. And I think Ducky is in the process of trying to put together a poll. We are conducting an experiment to see if she's able to do that while I continue talking at you.
We are like the Beastie Boys, dropping science.
Jim C. Hines about maybe reading any of his stuff.
That's an interesting concept. Jim is stylistically and thematically distinctly Ursula adjacent.
Okay, let me write a note. So I've got some votes for fiction. I've got some votes for games. Naomi says something about what is star-crossed.
And Scott, yes, St. Kilda is very adjacent to Hookland. They have postcodes in common.
Yes, very
sometimes.
much so. Tales from the Loop is delightful. We have that book. It would probably be pretty difficult for the two of us to play an RPG just by ourselves. I mean, we could, but it would probably take more prep than we have available right now.
Remains something which we might circle back around to, but maybe not right now.
There's a spooky game that we know that was recommended to us that Anno played.
Encryption.
It's Jenga and you fall in love. Oh, that sounds kind of cute. All right, so maybe Star-Crossed goes on the list. What's it called? Inscription with a Y? That was suggested to us.
Brom.
Yeah. We do have some bits and pieces of public domain horror.
None of it remotely as good as the my wife hired a twink to blackmail me into seducing me to death and then we split the funds story from Before Christmas.
I was going to say that.
Because damn.
That was pretty epic as far as vibes are going. That's true. There has been an... Oh my God.
What?
We could make you read Pooh. Because it's
in the public domain
now. You could read the first Winnie the Pooh book.
Oh, that might have to happen.
Okay, that one's going on the list as well. Speed dating for ghosts? Ooh, okay. You're right.
Yeah, just, mucus.
Yeah, not in the UK it's not. Kiwi. Excellent point. That's right.
But also thank you.
It's why is it not in the UK?
Because this island's allergic to fun. We've been over this.
I need to look into that. I didn't realize that it wouldn't. Now I'm gonna have to stick my copyright expert on it. Winnie the Pooh UK.
Alistair's soda and cheese fun hour. Well, that's obviously going to happen.
Melon has hairs. Errors don't matter. It's usually period of time from death of author. But yeah.
There's also those really short run games which are cooperative horror, which Wendy knows. I believe they're called Spooky Lake or Lakeshore or Boogity Boogity Lake games or something similar. I don't know what.
Boogity Boogity Lake games. That sounds fantastic.
But they do a bunch of really short run games which can be finished in like an hour to 2 hours. And the last one they released just before Christmas. That's it.
Rusty
See?
Lake.
Boogity Boogity Lake.
Yes.
Headbutt. Yeah.
Okay. All right, honey. There you go. All right, Rusty Lake.
The last one they did was a cooperative puzzle game.
But
where
Boogie Boogie
you
Lake
each see a different component of the puzzle. Not sure how we could stream it, or if we could, but...
JJ, if you have a link to that, that would be useful. I think Kiwi's point might have been that may be the case for the US, but it probably wouldn't be the case for the UK. Zalia is in favor of Alistair discovers Final Fantasy, but if Alistair starts playing Final Fantasy, he has to play the original Final Fantasy 7. I declare this. You can't play the remake until you've played the original game. And I think we could probably get an emulator, but I would have to do a whole lot of science into that. And then the problem is you're going to start playing it and you might play part of it wrong, and I might have to take it away from you and finish it. And then 80 hours are going to go by, and it'll be bad. It'll be bad.
See, I'd suggest that we stream Death Stranding, but you really don't want me to... You don't want to watch me spend a couple of hours a day taking Norman Reedus so that you can Edinburgh Gold Hug. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we still haven't played Nina Aquila Legal Eagle.
I'm bored of bringing it up at this point. I'm just like, you should totally play it, and it would be great.
The poll will only let you add 5 options, Ducky. Okay, fine. How about this? Let's do something like, do we want to do scary fiction, not scary fiction, a scary game, or a not scary game, or something else? That's 5 selections.
Or just play Final Fantasy 15 for the boy band road trip.
No. He's got to learn properly. I'm not going to make him play 1 through 6. But he has to either start with 6 or 7. That has proper education. International copyright law is why you can read things still in copyright in the US and UK, but going to the Australian Project Gutenberg, but you didn't hear... Oh.
We didn't hear that from you, but if we did, that would be really useful. Thank you.
Or the reason why there is a Sherlock Holmes anthology that released 6-7 years ago.
Bond.
Was it Bond?
It was Bond.
Because it fell out of copyright in Canada. And we have Canadian friends who did an anthology.
The name was Bond, guy. James Bond.
Hey, Bond!
007.
What's this about? Okay, God, stop that. We can't be stereotypical. That's rude. That's very, very rude. And thank you, Zalia, for copying over that link. We'll take a look at that. Brutal review Michelin
treasure trove of
goes for
pre-1923 music now in public domain. That's interesting.
That sounds good. Wacky novelty sound stuff. Ooh, that sounds podcastable.
How very podcastable.
Poll yeet? We do in fact have a poll. All right, everybody. I'm not sure for how long, but take a look at the options.
Observe the poll.
Oh, I love watching these things go live. It's really fun to watch them go back and forth. Dun 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 dun. Name me. I'm voting RPG anyway. Okay. I like how we have spooky game unspooked. So is your vote that we have to have a spooky game, a spooky RPG? Okay, fine.
Guys, Naomi and I like to talk a lot. There's a chance you may run over next week.
No!
Mick,
really?
Just watch literally any other interview we've done. Literally any other one.
It's literally just the 3 or 4 of us. It's fine. It's so fine. We're just gonna chat about things.
I would particularly recommend the Ben Meredith interview. and also the Mike one, because there is a point in the Mike one where all 3 of us are laughing so hard we can barely see.
Yes. I'm so looking forward to this next week. There might even be questions about St. Kilda.
I write questions every time. Then, yeah, it ends up being 2% questions, 98% vibes.
So vibes.
It's just vibes all the way down.
Spooky fiction is winning yet again. You love the spooks. You all love the spooky fiction. The word interview implies a level of structure that, no. Yeah. I mean, and it's not, this isn't Oprah Winfrey, right? We're not sitting down for tearful confessionals here. Well, this is about vibes. It is about, we love things and you have done a thing that we love and we want to hear about it. Please, enthuse in our presence. Yes, Naomi, we know you're voting RPG.
I am voting RPG.
It's okay. We know. Quick, go write a little RPG that we can play instead of an interview tomorrow.
Next week.
Next week. What is time?
Next week.
What is time? Vibes are good. All vibes are good. Do we have time to get kazoos by next week?
Because we're doing the kazoo rendition of the theme tune for the season finale,
not
right?
Doing a kazoo edition of the theme song.
I'll do it for
You're part of this cast.
I'll do it for you. We're both part of this cast.
Yeah, but you're like one of the stars. So you do it.
And you're honestly not telling me part of you doesn't want to go, we'll do the kazoo.
I do
I'll do
not.
the best fucking kazoo I've ever done.
I do not wish to do the kazoo.
Yes, you do.
I do not. I do not. Naomi, we're doing kazoo.
We're doing kazoo.
Right.
See, Scott, on the one hand I agree with you, and on the other, every tabletop RPG I ran for the last 5 years of my career as a GM was cursed. Seriously, cursed.
TTRPGs are amazing, and they take an inordinate amount of work and coordination and time and editing and, well, all of EA's stuff is designed to be something that you could listen to in a commute. That's very, very hard to do in a TTRPG podcast. Very hard to do.
I could buy some sage, or I could just cook with it.
Yeah, I'd rather you just cooked with
I'll
it.
just do that.
That's good. I don't know how much time is left.
You just need to play, not GM. Yeah, I've heard people do that.
How did that go for you?
I can't remember. It was so long ago, and I'm technically old now.
Well, if you know an excellent GM they want to invite Alistair on a show, that's different. That we could probably make happen. But running one ourselves, there are only so many hours in the day, and they're already very rude about bodies and needing sleep every single day. Rude.
And I know you were joking, Scott. I can read tone. Don't worry. But it is something which has come up.
Just leave offerings to the weekly St. Kilda podcast drop. That should appease the curse.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
What could possibly go wrong?
And at some point, I will tell you why every RPG I ran for 5 years is cursed. It basically just boils down to, I don't live there anymore.
Yes. My game was discontinued because the players wanted something more lighthearted than heavily rewritten Curse of the Strahd.
Well, your players were wrong, and you should tell them that.
Alright, the poll's just about to close, and Spooky Fiction is absolutely winning.
You just romped it. Absolutely bloody romped it.
Pats. Alright, so we gotta find even more additional Spooky Fiction.
It's like 15 Karnaki stories we haven't touched.
Okay.
I like our chances.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Now some Spooky
No
Fiction.
Nina Aquila for me. Fine.
Winnie the Pooh. What? It's Winnie the Pooh.
You want to do spooky Winnie the Pooh?
All Werner Herzog, all the time.
I'm sure there's got to be some more stuff.
Life is meaningless, rabbit. You must come with me to the Thousand Acre Wood.
Folks, if
we could just do Ada Buisson again. We could, honestly. It's kind of tempting.
It is kind of tempting. Are there more? Did she write more stories?
No, I think that's the only story of hers that survived.
Dracula versus the Pooh? Is that a thing?
Could be now. Dopon, is that by any chance the Orbital Blues system? Because I too have that, and it looks
Orbital
lovely.
Blues is amazing. Sherlock Holmes Ravenloft D&D session. I'm trying to scroll back. Oh, where did it go? Nice. Okay, more spooky fiction it is.
More spooky fiction. We'll find you something good.
Until Scarlet Hollow Chapter 3 comes out. And then we're
definitely
going to play Scarlet Hollow Chapter 3 because, death comes for Dustin.
Who's the best dog?
I'm going to have to remember all the accents. I'm going to have to watch back our own recordings to remember the accents for the characters.
That's part of the fun stuff. Also, I'm really glad I just do the animals, because it's just fabulous aging dog, and death comes for Dustin.
And the French cat.
And also Antonio Banderas' cat, who lives in the library.
I know. I'm so looking forward to when more episodes of that release. Okay. I have to go look up the UK rights on the Winnie the Pooh thing now, because the idea of you being able to do it. And Naomi, remind me when we chat next to tell you about what my other podcast idea is, for all my copious spare time.
Yes.
Heffalumps and woozles used to terrify me. I claim Winnie the Pooh can be scary. Well, of course it can be scary. It's a British children's book. Nothing is more terrifying, in my opinion. There's a Domains of Dread character who is a master detective. I forget which domain. Cool. Nice. What did we have in the Thoughts About More Scary Stories pile? I have a pile here.
She has a pile, folks.
The Lefanu Investigator. We only did the first Diana House story.
And there's like 5 more.
There's 5 more. You've yet to do the Signalman.
Horror of the Heights is done.
Horror of the Heights we have done.
Unfamiliar with the celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County.
You are familiar or are not?
I'm unfamiliar.
Mark Twain.
Nope.
Oh, it's one of his famous stories. But it's... Oh gosh, I was going to say it's not scary, and then I think about it, and it actually is kind of scary.
Mr. Blobby is a demon, and to the best of my knowledge, no fiction has been written about it, besides the fact it's a demon.
Yes, exactly. And then Scarlet Hollow Chapter 3, but that's still coming soon.
Yeah.
We don't have a heads up on that.
Um...
You did Horror of the Heights, didn't you?
I did Horror of the Heights. I did Horror of the Heights ages ago. Yeah.
On stream?
Yes, for Rusty Quill.
That's right. We did that for RQ.
Didn't do it.
Might have to go looking for more. Ted the Caver was the other thing you wanted to do,
yeah,
wasn't
Ted
it?
the Caver's a good one.
Yeah, some more creepypasta suggestions might be good. We Shall Never Lack the Means of Life by Island of Ray. I don't know this one.
R.M. Renfield, Spiders, George. Okay.
Huh.
Oh, it's a Renfield story. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Interesting. How long is it? It's only 1,800 words. Okay. Hopefully people are capturing all these links, otherwise we'll scroll back through.
We have the best mods in the world. We'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. See, now I'm scrolling through it going, okay.
Yeah, we could do that.
It's about people eating spiders. Yeah, I mean, what could be wrong with that? Yuletide fic. I was very blessed that year. Nice! Okay, cool. All sorts of interesting suggestions. Close the Saint killed the Tumblr.
Close
Marguerite.
the Tumblr, Marguerite. Step away from the Tumblr. It's TikTok time.
It's TikTok. Is it TikTok time?
It's nearly TikTok time.
Okay. TikTok is when I go to bed. I have a little bit of TikTok time. Do not eat my spiders. I'm not going to eat your spiders, please.
There'll be no eating of your spiders, we
We're
promise.
not going to. Spiders are friends, not
food.
There we go. All right.
Locusts can fuck off.
Yes, exactly. Shall we wrap this up?
Yes.
All right. Tell the fine folks where to find us and what we're doing. What we're doing, God only knows. Anyway.
You can find us across the next few days in various places. This very Friday, the next issue of The Full Lid will go live, which has all kinds of fun stuff in it. I'm finishing that off tomorrow. At the same time...
I was just going to say something else about Full Lid.
Go ahead.
So currently we're running a little bit of a survey as well. So if you're a Full Lid subscriber, we're just asking a couple of questions and getting some feedback on what we ran in 2021. And if you had suggestions for what you liked, what maybe didn't land so well, or what you'd like to see in the future. So that will be running another week and a bit. So if you are a Full Lid subscriber, and it's free and you should be, and it's awesome, please feel free to give us your feedback on that.
Fantastic. At the same time, that Friday, the latest episode of Pseudopod, the 15 years this year, I think, horror fiction podcast will...
15 years last year.
15 years last year. Will go live. And if I remember correctly, Scott said he's hosting it.
Yeah.
This week, Scott is a fantastic host, and it will be a good damn time.
Spider in the post.
Yeah, tell us the spider friend in the post, Christian. So that will be Friday. Then on Sunday, you can rejoin us between 10 and 12 a.m. GMT, PM GMT.
So yeah, how dare. In information I am sure everyone wants, searching for Mr. Blobby on AO3 reveals 8 fic.
I'm not doing it. That's on the record,
No.
and that's non-negotiable.
No.
I'm not doing it.
No.
A jumping spider friend. That sounds amazing and terrifying to me. So
Send us pictures when
Send us
Spider
pictures.
Friends arrive.
yes,
That was Friday.
that's
Sunday.
Friday. Sunday will be between 10 and 12. 2 hours.
a.m. 10 a.m. and noon UK time. Not
Li-
10 p.m. I'll
life-
be in bed.
Life is Strange True Colors, which is a fantastic game we're really enjoying playing, and it's really good fun. And then we'll be back here next Wednesday for 98% vibes with the St. Kilda crew.
For the St. Kilda Queen of Vibes, and all things. And, I'm having musical thoughts. I shall have to have musical thoughts. Maybe we can... I wonder if I can use the Spotify... No, they're probably not going to let me play the Spotify playlist on the Twitch channel, are they? Darn. That would be
God
good,
damn
though.
it.
Dang it! Musical thoughts. I'll have to have musical thoughts faster! Yes, exactly. Right, cool. So, next week, Naomi and Mick, we shall vibe.
There'll
there
be
shall be
vibage.
much vibing.
Premium vibage.
Premium, say, Kilda-shaped vibage. And in the meantime, I've been Marguerite.
And I've been Alistair.
And we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, everybody. Push the button.